Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Or if you are watching this on the replay, happy Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Monday, Tuesday. If you are watching this on the replay, go hashtag replay to bump it up to make sure that others can see as well. I'd really appreciate it. But I am back. So last week we took a little bit of a break. I wanted to refine what we were doing in this new series, and I gave myself a little bit of time to kind of hash that out to make sure that what I give you is good quality. So we are starting our new series today on the little things on your plate that make a huge difference. Okay, and so part one is going to be reframing the way that you think about what's on your plate. And so a lot of times when we look down at our plate, we can see things that maybe we're not extremely excited about, right? Or we see things that we feel sometimes aren't as palatable as we want them to be, right? So with that being said, I want you to think about the things that are on your plate as being medicine and fuel. And so, good morning, Wendy. Hi. We have so many varieties and types of foods, and they do certain things for our body. And so knowing that and knowing what's in the food that we are consuming helps us be able to get the most out of our food, okay? And so specifically what we're going to kind of talk about today is vitamins, okay? So I'm just going to go over a few of those, A, B, and C, D as well, and talk about what those are, what those bring to the table, and then how we can kind of incorporate them into our day. The big take home with this is for you guys, if possible, to get your vitamins from natural sources. And so I know that we have so many aspects of supplements and things that we can take if we happen to be deficient, but a lot of times deficiency in our mind versus what marketing is telling us is something completely different. And so when you go to the store, if you feel like you're not getting everything that you need out of the food that you consume and you want to buy a vitamin, there's nothing wrong with that. I fully support that. But do know that your body can only absorb a certain amount of these vitamins in one setting. And so if you're going to the store and you're buying the most high-powered vitamin that has 300% of everything in that little vitamin, in all actuality, you're probably discarding most of that. Your body's not going to be able to absorb it. And so this is why we say having vitamins from the actual food that we get allows us to be able to absorb it in the right quantities, okay? So, for example, a lot of us talk about vitamin C, which is a really great vitamin. It helps us with cuts and heals and scratches, all of those things. It also helps with immunity. So it's one of those ones that everybody knows about, right? And so a lot of times we'll buy the little emergencies and we'll take those. Or sometimes we have Baobab and we'll take some of that, which is great because Baobab has added fiber, which allows us to be, our absorption ability to be a little bit better for that. But with that being said, if we were to eat an actual orange, we would make sure to be able to get everything that we needed out of that, and it would be in the correct quantity. And so taking one pill at a particular time during the day sometimes doesn't allow for the best absorption as if we were to break it up through natural food and eat it at small, frequent times, if that makes sense. So a lot of times, if you're going to look for that vitamin, do look for something that has closest to the 100 mark, if not a little bit lower than that. So we don't need to have 100% of everything in the actual vitamin, because then, we wouldn't be consuming anything that we're going to actually eat, okay? So know that it's okay if it doesn't have quite 100%. I think a lot of times we look for this 100%, we look at these 300%, 500% and think, okay, that's what I really need, when you really only need a small proportion of that if your diet is of natural foods as well, okay? So also know that, some of these vitamins that are occurring in the list that you're buying are fat-soluble vitamins. And so D is one of those. And so it's so interesting because when you consume them naturally in their, state in which the Lord has created them to be absorbed, vitamin D is a lot of times associated with things that are, fat, that fat naturally occurs in them. So if that makes sense. So milk, beef, things of that nature, naturally occurring, those things have fat that have with them. And so it kind of goes hand in hand. So when you're getting it from nature, your ability to absorb it is going to be higher because it's going to come with the thing that's supposed to go with it. So that's one way. But then also do know that, you can have your dose of vitamin D through the sun as well, which I think is amazing because the Lord is light, and from light, he allows us to have vitamin D. And vitamin D has been also clinically shown to improve mood. And so those that live in Alaska or somewhere where it's always dark in the winter, they do have their little supplemental like lights that kind of come up to help them have, the ability to not be so, sad, anxious, things of that nature. It has been shown to correlate with that. And so knowing that your dose of vitamin D can be gotten from the sun as well. But I kind of wanted to talk about a couple other vitamins. So ones that we might not hear as much about, which would be A. Okay. And so we hear about the ability for, it's funny because anytime we talk about carrots, everybody's like, oh, carrots are really great for your eyes. Carrots are really great for your eyes. And they are. I agree with that. But it's the vitamin A that we're looking for. Okay. And so vitamin A helps protect your eyes and your skin. And so it plays an important role in keeping good night vision as well. And so this isn't just carrots, but this is also dark green vegetables, red and orange fruits. So cantaloupe, sweet potato, tomatoes, spinach, romaine lettuce, all of those have A in them. And so do know that when you think about most of these naturally occurring fruits and vegetables, if we are able to eat them in a raw state, our absorption rate is higher. Okay, so I know I'm not telling you to cut up a sweet potato and eat it raw. That's going to be a little bit harder to chew. But, some of the things that we naturally don't steam, like, spinach eaten in the raw, romaine lettuce eaten in the raw, those are things that if you were to heat them up, the vitamin absorption rate goes down drastically because the heat actually breaks down the vitamin. And so you're not being able to, get the nutrients out of it. And so I think it's very interesting that the way in which things are designed or they were created is the way that we're supposed to consume them to be able to get the most out of them. And so do note, if you can eat some of these things raw, you're going to be able to get the most vitamin absorption out of them. So the other vitamin that I kind of wanted to talk about a little bit was vitamin B. And so I know there's a wide range of vitamin B. And so they are going to help mainly with your body's ability to tap into energy as that food for fuel. And so that was the other thing that I wanted to talk about in regards to reframing your plate. And when you look at your plate and you look down at your plate, what is on your plate that's going to help you get to your goals? And so a lot of times if we can look down at our plate and we can see multiple colors on our plate, aesthetically, we're a little bit happier with our plate. I mean, nobody looks down at their plate and sees all gray and is like really excited to eat this gray matter, right? So I'll tell you a quick story about that in all honesty. So I don't know how many of you guys have tried the pot stickers from Trim Healthy Mama, but it's one of my most favorite recipes. And I hide zucchini and mushrooms in these pot stickers and they become very, very moist. And so as most of you guys know, things have been a little bit crazy here for me. And so I did not have time to be able to sit in front of the stove and make all of these pot stickers. But I was like, hey, I should do pot stickers. And so I had this ingenious idea that I would just put them all in a 9x13 pan and it would be like a meatloaf, right? And I was like, oh, this is brilliant. I'll just bake it. It's going to be great. I will tell you, it's not great. Don't try that. It was a big mistake. Epic meal prep fail right there. So what ended up happening is all the nutrients from everything, I could see the water kind of just like seep out of the actual 9 by 13 dish, and the meat and veggie mixture was just kind of like floating in this like sea of moisture when it was like baking in the oven. And I was like, oh no, there went all of my ability for this to be this nice, wonderful pot sticker. And now it was like this dry mash that was gray matter. And I will tell you, like, I ate it anyways because I'm super frugal and I do not throw food away, but it was not the most pleasant thing. And so that leads me to, if you look down at your plate and it's not something that you're excited about, you're going to be least likely to feel sustained from that. Okay. So I will tell you, after I ate that, and I did, put in different things with it, and I tried to make it be something that was a little bit more exciting. When I got done, I was like, oh, okay, what's next? When in all actuality, I had everything that I needed already there, but visually it wasn't something that my body, was excited about. And so I encourage you guys, use nice plates, take things out and plate them and make it look pretty. There is something about the aesthetics of being able to look down at a plate and see it and be happy with it, to draw happiness from the ability to say, hey, I'm excited about getting to eat this. This is a great thing for me and for my body. And some of the ways to be able to do that is to incorporate various colors. And so know that, your vitamin D is going to come mainly from, chicken, fish, and other proteins, beans, peas. But those are going to be the things that aren't going to look as pretty sometimes. And so incorporating different colors into your plate and making them be pretty when you plate them should help you be able to kind of reframe what's on your plate to know that it is what's best quality. And so we're going to continue on with this series next week as well, talking about minerals and some of the things that we can do to make sure that we're incorporating enough of those, and some of the high ones that, we have most likely to be deficient on, or that we don't have quite enough of, and then how we can get those naturally in. But if you guys have a specific vitamin that you are thinking you want to go a little bit more in depth with, let me know below. Or if you have a actual multivitamin that you guys use and you guys want me to look at that and kind of dissect it a little bit, let me know on that too. Do know that vitamins are not regulated by the FDA, and so try to get those that are really reputable brands that require third-party testing, and it will tell you on the vitamin that it is third-party tested approved, to let you know that what is in that vitamin is actually what you are consuming, because the FDA does not regulate that testing. So it could tell you it has, 4,000% of vitamin A, but it has no vitamin A in it because there's nobody there to regulate that. So kind of keep that in mind too. If you are consuming something that's fresh and on your plate, your ability to know that there is, vitamin A in, your romaine lettuce, it's going to be there because it's naturally occurring in all romaine lettuce, right? It's not picked out to where we haven't gotten that good to where we can pull out the vitamins from different things in regards to genetic modification for our foods. But I think that's a good thing so far. So if you guys have extra questions, let me know. I also linked the other Wellness Wednesdays down below. And so if you miss some, there's about 20 linked in to a YouTube playlist. If you guys want to go back and watch or replay those, they are there for you. If you have any ideas of what you potentially want to hear me chat about, let me know that in the comments below. I'm always open for suggestions. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.